All right, so now I know it's been a little while, but we back, baby. Let's talk of some MLB. So we got somebody out here, bringing up old stuff. I know you heard the saying, man, why are you bringing up old news? Well, Yankees GM Brian Cashman seems to be bringing up old news about 2017. He seems to feel some type of way about the Astros winning the championship during that year, well, winning the World Series in 2017. And he said their actions were illegal and horrific. If you don't know what actions I mean, it was like a little sign stealing thing and, beating of trash cans and all that. But I think he's taking it too far when he says the Yankees, the New York Yankees, pinstripes, are going through a drought because of something that happened 5 years ago? I don't know, Jim. It sounds a little iffy. What say you?
Man, what a world, what a world we live in, where even so many people, they just want to. I'm all about something don't go my way, something happens to me. I am always, I try to every time find a mirror and look at it and take inventory, take accountability, and try to say, okay, what did I not do? I think that's first and foremost what anybody who has any ounce of pride in them should do is okay, this didn't go that way. What could I have done differently before you start fix yourself before you try to all of a sudden all right, man, it was everybody over here. We got one thing we don't need more of, and I'm talking about society in general, not just in sports. We need less victims. Number one, we need less victims. And Brian Cashman right here, what an ironic name, because my little cheap dig at the beginning, somebody with all the money. Not only did the Yankees payroll always seem to be in the top three of all of baseball, because this is the one sport that we cover that don't have a salary cap. So it's all dependent on the owners and the market. And we know, look, this is New York, so we out here spending it. And then your name is Cashman. So yeah, that's almost too easy. So yeah, if Brian Cashman want to come out here 5 years later and do an interview and say, yeah, man, the Astros, they out here cheating, and man, if they hadn't been, hey man, at least we did it the right way. We was out here doing it right. That sounds like that dude from Kansas State, Bruce Weber, was about last month. He resigned from his job. And talking about, man, well, I'm not caught up in the NCAA violations, all this. And he's at the same time, he's I hope somebody give me another job. But you resigned, you didn't get fired. What are you talking about? So, I'm not saying Brian Cashman ain't got a right to be a little upset. Everybody was upset with the Houston Astros and their little sign stealing scandal, which was led by Alex Cora, by the way, who immediately the next season scurried off up there to the Boston Red Sox, and it took a while, but he got suspended a year, and then immediately the next year, the Red Sox take him right back. So, he probably feels some type of way about that. By the way, that just every time I hear that phrase, it takes me back to the Mesa Verde when remember when Terrence bumped that song every day in the Berthin. Every single day, I think it was the anthem for us back there. I got to tell you.
You remember that, huh? You remember that? Huh?
I do. Yeah. To this day. But Frank, I just don't want to hear this. I don't want to. It's been 5 years, man. If this was right after the investigation, and he comes out and he's all up in arms, yeah, this is some BS or whatever he wants to say. This is 5 years. This is 3 years after the investigation. It's 5 years after, the Astros actually cheated. I just don't, to me, I think I think Brian Cashman, as somebody that works for the Yankees and a franchise that has 27 World Series titles, which is by and large, I think it laps the field with everybody else in Major League Baseball. They've only won one title since 2000. That was in 2009. They haven't been to the World Series since 2009. And it's not like you look at them recently and say, well, That's understandable. They just ain't have enough talent. No. There's never been a shortage of talent, and there ain't never been a shortage of money either. It's just a bunch of guys out there just not meeting expectations. And I just found it interesting that, oh man, yeah, I'm getting tired of people telling us we ain't done something since 2009, because we had that one team in 2017. We made the ALCS, but you had that one team that cheated, and that really hung us up. What about the other 20 years in the past 21 years? What do you have for that? Can we talk about those years? Do you have excuses for losing to the Red Sox in 2018? How about the Astros in 2019 when you lost 4-2 and your closer gave up a game-winning home run to lose that series, and he was on the mound looking like a straight doofus with the dumbest grin I've ever seen on his face? You remember Aroldis Chapman just standing there like, how did you do that?
Wait.
You threw him a high fastball.
You said he was on the mound looking like a straight what?
Doofus. You heard it.
Oh,
he looked like a straight doofus up there throwing a high fastball to Altuve. He cranks it. He just stand there looking goofy like, I can't believe he did that. Well, you should have read the scouting report, fool. And then you lose to the Rays in the wild card game, right, in 2020, or you lose, the division series in 2020 in the COVID shortened year. The Rays payroll is like 5% of your payroll every single year, so that don't make no sense. And then you lose to the Red Sox in the wild card round, and that's only in the past 5 years when you've had more than enough talent to get it done. So, and not only that, Drink, it really gets on my nerves when people try to, they speak from the moral high ground, but then you take a look around and you look at some of the guys that they've signed through the years, and you look at all the guys that's been caught up in performance-enhancing drugs through the years. Oh, yeah, you had Roger Clemens, you had Andy Pettitte, and you had Andy Rodriguez, one of the most disingenuous people I've ever seen. I get sick and tired of him on television all the time.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, I'm talking about Alex Rodriguez. Yes, I am.
Okay.
It makes me so sick. The ESPN will be in there, be like, oh, yeah, you heard Robinson Cano got suspended for the year for PEDs. And you got the commentators just out there, beating him up for it. And then it's like, oh, well, let's go to A-Rod and get his thoughts. Oh, the same A-Rod that was using the same PEDs? Oh, stop it. I mean, so, again, Brian Cashman, you want to be all up in arms about the Astros cheating? That's fine. You've employed some cheaters in your day yourself. So don't act all holier than thou. Stop making excuses. Be better. And I'm telling you, if they don't get this act together soon, because, look, I got it. It's hard to win championships in any sport. I get it. But it's the Yankees. It's no salary cap. They can spend all the money they want, and they just failed. You can't win 26 World Series in what? I don't know, whatever year, how many years. But look, in the 1990s through 2000, I think it was 96 through 2000. You won 4 out of 5 years, and there's never been a significant talent drop off. There's never been a significant loss of talent. You just fail. You just come up short time and time again. It's not just about one season. It's about all the seasons. Again, you ain't made the World Series since 2009. So don't act like one team, messed it up for you one year. And then, oh, by the way, you also don't act like, oh man, yeah, the Astros, we could have beat them. Well, who's to say? So you thinking, oh, we beat the Astros and then it's a foregone conclusion that you beat the Dodgers in the World Series? No, it's not. So what about that? If you beat the Astros and then you lose to the Dodgers, you think anybody's going to give a rip about that? No.
Okay. There was a lot to unpack there, people. Listen, I think Brian Cashman is a picture of what we are at today as a society. To what you said. It's a whole lot of blaming and victimizing, and I had this conversation with some people I work with, and I always say, I try not to compare generations, but like it seemed like every decade that passed by, we stop taking ownership of what we do, and we look to blame somebody else, and we're looking for a scapegoat or loophole or whatever the case might be. And that's what I'm hearing from Brian Cashman. The thing is this: when you're a powerful franchise and when you're a very wealthy franchise, and you're always at top of the league with money. You got loyal fans. You got, when you're at the top of the mountain, they always say heavy is the head that wear the crown, right? The Yankees, when it comes to MLB, they are that heavy head that's wearing the crown, right? As far as money go, not championships, but when you're talking about payroll, when you're talking about location, when you're talking about history, lore, like they're the Dallas Cowboys of MLB. They're the New York Knicks of the MLB, or the Los Angeles Lakers, however you want to look at it, of the MLB. And I think now, since 2017, the fans are like, listen, bro, we don't give a rip about the home run derby. Yeah, I don't give a damn how many home run derbies Aaron Judge win. I don't care about that. We want championships. The crazy thing about this is, so they mad. So in 2017, you're mad with the Houston Astros because they were stealing signs and you lost. Then the very next year, you go to the NLDS and you lose, 3-1 to the Red Sox. Okay. Then the very next year, you're like, well, listen, that was just a rollover from 17. Okay, let me try one even better. 2019, you go to the NL Championship Series, and you lose 4-2 to, what do you know? That same team you mad about stealing signs. But this time they wasn't stealing signs. They just was stealing your soul out of your chest because they beat you 4-2. All right, cool. Then in 2020, you make it back to the divisional series, and you lose to the Tampa Bay Rays. Hey, Jay, if you don't mind me asking, what do you know what's the average salary for the Tampa Bay Rays?
Not off the top of my head, but it is fractional. It is fractional compared to the Yankees. It's not $50 million, and I want to say it's significantly lower than that.
Oh, what do you know? So you lose to a team that's a third of your roster. Okay, cool. And in 2021, you make it to the wild card, which is the one-game playoff. Oh, what do you know? They got that team from 2018, the Red Sox. Oh, okay. So what it seems like to me is, listen, it might be time for a change in regime. That's what it sounds like. Maybe you, Brian Cashman, you're not the guy to take them to the top of the mountain again. Your rope might be gone now. Because no longer are the days of, hey, they just keep bringing in money, so we ain't worried about it. No, you're not the San Diego Padres. You don't get to just lose a whole lot as long as you're making a few bucks. You got to actually win. Just like the Cowboys got to actually win. The Lakers got to actually win. The Knicks got to actually win. The Red Wings or whoever in hockey got to actually win, right? And I think that's what this is. This is a cry out now. Everybody coming at me. Hey, it was 2017. Mother lover, it's 5 years later. And I'm going to be honest. I'm not even a big baseball guy. But I just hate to hear this old lackluster, wimpy limp bull crap. Dude over here blaming everybody. Probably get paid $40 million a year or something as the GM because you're making so much money up there. Ain't no telling how much money you make. And like, if you're in a sport that don't have a salary cap, what the F is the problem? What is the problem when you got the money that New York has? I'd rather hear more complaining from the Mets. At least the Mets can say, well, we would have a good team if New York wasn't like taking out, kind of big brothering us and taking over everything in New York. At least their excuse would be a little bit legit. Because I can hear the Clippers saying it to the Lakers. I can hear the Jets saying it to the Giants. Like, it happens. I can hear that. But for what he's complaining about, Jay, I don't know. I don't watch enough baseball to know if this is a realistic complaint. But what I do know is this. It seems to me that the owners up there might need to start looking for somebody that's a little more baseball savvy instead of making the money. Because they done made plenty of money. Plenty of cash. You can only renovate the stadium so many times, right? Like you'd have made plenty of money. You put your luxury seats over here. You'd have done this. You'd have done that. Now it's time to bring in somebody that's going to actually win you some games and get you back to that level you once were back when this was America's favorite game with dudes was damn near smoking cigars while they playing the game and all this other crap they was doing back in the day. So, yeah, man, it just sounds like the road is nearing the end for the GM Brian Cashman.
The other part of it is real quick, like everybody was angry at the Astros, and to a lesser extent, the Red Sox were caught up in this a little bit, I think, during their run with, oh, by the way, Alex Cora. But the thing about it is, stealing signs in baseball, everybody tries to steal signs, I believe. The problem is Houston, and I believe Boston did it via electronic means. But to me, I think the whole idea of stealing signs is I don't think you should be able to steal signs, period, or you should like try to do that. I think it goes against the spirit of the game. But it's just another one of those points to where everybody wants to, stand on that moral pedestal, like they're, the most moral, holier than thou, as I said. But in the grand scheme of things, they're no better than nobody else because everybody's stealing signs, and I believe more teams are trying to push the envelope so they can get these type of advantages that the Astros ended up getting.